Today I'm going to be making churrasco for my family. Guys, I'm not a chef or even close to it, but as a homemaker, I feel like it's my loving duty to cook for my family. Usually I just look up a recipe on YouTube. Sometimes I change it a little bit to our liking. I think it's definitely more nutritious and certainly cheaper to eat at home. This recipe calls for marinating the churrasco, so I'm going to start with about half a cup of olive oil, the garlic cloves. The recipe said to marinate it for 4 hours to up to overnight. I did about 4 hours in the fridge and about 45 minutes at room temperature. Then I added a small key lime. That's just what I had. Then I added some of this low sodium soy sauce. Just a splash. I didn't really measure the next ingredients. I just kind of eyeballed them. I added some paprika. A little bit of cumin, not that much. And a little bit of oregano. A little bit more than cumin. And a little bit of salt. And here I'm showing you my ring light. No, I'm showing you how the meat doesn't have that tough skin membrane. I mean, it's got a little bit of it, but it doesn't have like the whole back filled with the skin membrane, because that gives you a tough churrasco steak. So if it would have had it, I would have had to cut it off. Guys, as you can tell, I am not a YouTube editing guru either. I'm just trying something a little bit out of my comfort zone here. These recipe videos I think are very relatable and easy to follow and pretty tasty if you ask my family. And they're helping me on my path to overcome overeating and binge eating. They're also helping me socially because I'm putting myself out there. I'm recording myself and putting it on the internet. Even though I'm a middle-aged adult, I still struggle with shyness and social anxiety. Although I have to say I struggle a lot less now than I did when I was younger. Anyhow, I feel like making these videos helps. Here I just added the onions to marinate the meat, and then I covered it up and put it in the fridge. Then I fried up the meat in a pretty hot cast iron skillet. In hindsight, I should have cooked the meat on medium heat because we like our steak medium well. Yes, I know. Because if you put the heat on too high, what will happen is you can only cook it for about 2 to 3 minutes per side because then it'll burn. So if you want the steak cooked to medium well, I recommend putting the stove on medium. That way it can cook for longer. So here I'm sauteing the onions that were part of the marinade. I'm just going to put them over top on the steak. See, this is how the steak cooked. For us, this is like medium rare. We don't like it like that. We like it medium well. So I'm just putting it back on the pan for about another 2 minutes per side. I did try to put the stove on medium, although it seems quite hot. Then I covered it to try to trap some of the heat. This is how it was looking at about 2 more minutes. After the meat finished cooking, I put it on a plate and covered it with foil and let it rest for about 10 minutes. And this is the final result. Usually we would like our meat more cooked, but it was quite tasty, I have to say. It had a nice crust on the outside, but it was still pretty tender and juicy on the inside. For my husband and daughter, I topped it with chimichurri sauce and I served it with a side of rice and beans and plantains. And for me, I'm trying to go lower carb, so I just topped it with chimichurri sauce and served it with a side salad and a few plantains.